Good day everyone. So in this lecture we are going to discuss about the CPU and memory. That is, we are going to discuss about the processor used in the PLCs. We have already seen a little bit about the processor when we discussed about the parts of PLC. Now we'll look into detail. So processor, CPU is central processing unit, right? So this CPU, we know that it performs processing functions, right? So it takes input from the input module, and that input it will process, right? So before going into the process, while that information has to be stored somewhere, right? Only then it can process, right? So CPU, it takes information from the input module, it stores somewhere in the memory, okay, then processes that signal. That processed signal is again given to the output module. So basically CPU, the processor is divided into two main sections. One is CPU and other one is memory. Okay, CPU is where the program gets executed. All the decisions by the processor is made by the CPU. It is the brain of the PLC. Okay, whereas memory, we know that it is a part where we can store information, right? So the data from the input devices and other data about the process, everything will be stored in the memory. So these are the two main sections in processor. Okay, so it takes in, if you look at this diagram, we have different types of IO devices. It takes input, then it is given to the CPU, it processes, of course it will be stored in the memory. Once the processing is done, it generates output. So that output is again given to the output devices. Okay, so this is how the flow works. Now PLCs, it can have more than one processor also. If we have more than one processor, then we can do multitasking. So we can allot the processor in such a way that each and every processor will be allotted some tasks. So all these tasks will be performed parallelly. Okay, so if parallel processing is done, then we can improve the response time. Okay, so parallel processing or multi-processing is done if we have more than one processor. Okay, if we have more than one processor, it also supports as redundant processor. If suppose the first processor fails, then the second processor can take over the functions. Okay, so for critical process, we will have more than one processor. So this is CPU. Now this CPU, it has three modes. Okay, what are the three modes is run, program and REM. Okay, run, program and REM. So what does run mode indicates? What does it mean? It means the processor is placed in the running condition. Okay, so running condition is you have already developed some program and you have downloaded that program into the processor, and that processor is connected in the real-time environment. It is now working. It controls a real-time processor. So it means that the processor is in run mode. Okay, so it executes the ladder program and it energizes the output devices. Okay, so when the processor is in run mode, you cannot do any corrections to the program. Okay, you cannot alter the program. Okay, and also you cannot change the mode, that is from programmer to operator interface. You cannot change that mode. So run, it is placing in running condition and it executes the program, and in run mode you cannot alter the program. Second mode is program mode. Okay, it places that is the processor is placed in programming mode. Okay, so in programming mode you can alter the program or you can develop some other ladder logic programs. Okay, so programming can be done when the processor is in program mode. So it allows you to perform program entry and editing. So this is programming mode is concerned. And last mode is REM mode, which is called as remote mode. Okay, so remote mode, it can be remote run or remote program or remote test. Okay, what this does is it allows you to change the processor mode from a programmer operator interface device. Okay, so from an interface device, that is from a remote instrument, you can connect to the PLC processor and perform online editing. Okay, so this is remote mode. Totally 3 modes: run mode, program mode and REM mode. Okay, so this is the 3 main modes of processor in PLC. Next we'll discuss about the memory. So memory, it is the element where we store information, programs and data, right? So the user memory of a PLC includes space for the user program as well as the addressable memory locations for storage of data. Okay, so it has space for storing user program as well as storing data. Okay, now data are stored in memory location by a process called writing. Okay, so I am writing inside a notebook. It is something like that. Okay, whenever I need it, I'll go and look back into that note where it is. Okay, so data is stored in the memory location using a process called writing. Okay, now the data is retrieved from the memory by what is referred to as reading. Okay, so I told you, if I want to look back the same information, I will go to the same notebook and I will read what I have written previously, right? So data retrieval is reading. Okay, so the complexity of the program, it determines the amount of memory required. Okay, if the program is very complex, then we will be needing a more amount of memory. Okay, so memory elements stored individual pieces of information called bits or binary digits. Okay, so memory location, it refers to an address in the CPU's memory where that particular data is stored. So memory location is denoted by what we call it as a memory address. Just like we have our home address, if suppose someone want to deliver a post to our home, then they will see the address and they will give the post, right? Similar to that, here we have a memory location which is referred to as memory address. Then memory types. So this is very basic, you would have studied in more number of courses. So memory type, it is basically classified into 2 types. One is volatile memory, another one is non-volatile memory. So volatile memory is the information stored in the volatile memory will be erased once the power is switched off. Okay, so it is once the power gets off, the information stored in the volatile memory will be removed or destroyed. Okay, whereas in case of non-volatile memory, the information stored, it will be retained even when the power is off. Okay, so RAM is the basic example of volatile memory. RAM stands for random access memory, and there are 4 classifications here: ROM, read-only memory; EEPROM, which is electrically programmable read-only memory; electrically erasable programmable read-only memory; then flash, EEPROM. These are some of the types of non-volatile memory. So in this lecture we saw about the CPU, the sections in CPU, then different modes of CPU, and then finally we saw about the memory inside the processor. Thank you.